Welcome, welcome, welcome. I don't know. So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And so some of you were at the meditation this morning. So maybe just as we run through this kind of settling part of the practice, notice if your mind has changed at all. Notice what's different. I can guarantee it's not going to be the same. Even if you have the same issue that you had this morning, your mind's probably thinking a little bit differently about it. So just feel your body, your feet on the floor, about a hip's width apart if you are sitting at your computer. And then if you are in the regular cross-legged position, maybe have something underneath your sacrum, just lifting you up a little bit, and maybe something underneath your knees. If your hips and knees are tight. And imagine your shoulders are aligned with your hips. Now imagine you have this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And you can imagine someone has a little piece of string and they're very gently lengthening your spine. Put some space in between your vertebrae and breathe. Now go to the crown of the head and notice if you can feel any sensation there, and just relax the scalp. Relax your forehead and the eyes and the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, and the back of the tongue, the jaw, the temples. Relax your ears and your inner ear, and the back of the head and the neck. And allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat. And your chest and your belly and your limbs. And think about your hands and feet and your fingers. Just relax your fingers. Maybe clench your fists and just release them. And relax your toes. And then notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. It's a little bit cooler when you're inhaling than when you're exhaling. And then, any sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. So try not to follow them with the mind. They're part of your mandala. And then notice what's arising in your mind this evening. And just check. For those of you who were there this morning, see if there's any difference in your meditation. And for those of you who weren't there this morning, but did wake up and had some thoughts in the mind, of course, we always have thoughts in the mind. Are those thoughts different now? So, nothing's fixed in cement. Things change. But take a step back and just look objectively at what's there in the mind. Put some space in between the thoughts. Maybe just see if there's a texture or a color. And be curious about what's there, with kindness. So I saw something float through Facebook today. Imagine talking to yourself the same way you would talk to your dog. Oh, you're so beautiful today. Look at that lovely soft fur that you have. Do you like a tummy rub? Aren't you a beautiful girl or boy or, person? No, instead we tend to reprimand ourselves all the time. So maybe think about that. And then bring to mind all the people of our life. So we can start with the ones we love, So we have some people in our life who we have these really deep and profound relationships with, you know? Somehow with these people, it's just so easy to work with them, live with them, laugh with them. There's no drama. You know what each other's thinking. You know when to give each other some space to be quiet. It's just easy. And there's some relationships we have are just kind of not easy. They're difficult. And maybe we don't even like these people. And then we have these strangers in our life, people in the store, people on the highway, people, just wandering around the street. And we kind of see them, we take them in, we might say hi, and then we don't think about them again. We're definitely not leaving them in our will. And these people, these relationships are interchangeable. They can change. You can swap places. And that may have happened to you already in your life. You may have an example of that. And regardless of how you think of each one of those people in from each one of those groups, now they're all equal. Just like you, they want to be happy. Just like you, they don't want to suffer. And just like you, they have an amazing capacity in their minds for enlightenment. So I think we'll do this meditation for all these people of our life, all the sentient beings, and for ourselves as we're moving along our spiritual path. So remember, there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of your body and your speech, and then maybe in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past actions, our past karma. So if we've harmed others, if we've done negative things to people that are harmful, we're going to probably experience suffering in the future. It's like a natural law. We cannot bear the thought of any more future suffering. We know from our present suffering, we really don't want to encourage any more in. So logically, it does make sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering in the future. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We have two little sections here. One is developing compassion. Developing compassion, that's the second one. The first one now is refuge. So we turn to Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're looking not for a higher power. We're looking for a doctor, someone we can rely upon to give us the methods, the medicine to sort of heal ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long, shaped like lotus petals, and they're peaceful and they're full of love and compassion for you and equally all sentient beings. He has this sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then this little section on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we've harmed, those who have harmed us. So think of someone you may have harmed recently, or some thing, some sentient being, and have compassion for them, because it's just kind of like brings this idea of regret in as well. So have compassion for the people you've harmed. Then also have compassion for the people who've harmed you, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So you just make a strong aspiration to do this practice for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And now we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, like coming out of a forceful shower head, like Niagara Falls, and quite forcefully from his heart. And you can also imagine, when you have a shower, just imagine this is this purifying light from Vajrasattva pouring into you through the crown of your head. And it fills your entire body completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shiyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajra mami mutta vajra bawa mahasamaya satva hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is a purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all of the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and inappropriate speech and lying, even if it's little white lies, and talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata hum pe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, including yourself. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light, this time from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So imagine you walk into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the darkness is instantly dispelled. So just imagine the moment the light hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, anger, bitterness, grudges, depression, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe ambhadrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anorakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya vajrasafa dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And imagine they're gone, finished. And now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of these very subtle imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So imagine the Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. It fills you and just eradicates completely even the most subtle imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anorakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa Anarakta me boa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity in your left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we have this last section is the power of resolve. And it's the final step in the purification process. It's really crucial, because we don't do anything unless we decide to. So just decide to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. Without making a decision like this, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff over and over again, because we have these like habit energies. So it's really good just to take a step back, slow down, give yourself some space, and have this aspiration in your heart to refrain from harming. And it becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. It's like all of a sudden that spider that's crawling around in your shower after you've taken your clothes off and turned the water on, you're half wet, you then can be bothered to turn the shower off, wrap yourself up in a towel, find something to pick up the spider with and put it outside. And that's a lot of effort. Also, if you're in a hurry. So this is the kind of thing that ends up, it's like you think twice before you just let that spider wash down the drain. So think, rejoice in your efforts coming along here tonight. Rejoice in your efforts of rescuing spiders from the shower. And think of something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow evening. Something simple. And then let's just dedicate all our... we'll conclude. Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think you teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and your own body, speech, and mind are the same. And then, Rinpoche talks about sealing the merit with emptiness. So if you have any kind of negativity, it's kind of protected by this. I don't know how it works. Obviously it's an energetic, it's working on a very different level than we are able to understand, I think. So Rinpoche says, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you do understand emptiness, even if it's just the word, just place your mind there for a little while. Just become adjusted to this idea. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They don't exist from their own side. It doesn't mean that they don't exist at all. It just means that the way they appear to me is not really the way they actually exist. May not be. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our 3 verses for the swift return of Lamsa Rinpoche. A teacher of the non-dual truth, non-dual, atop reality's most lofty peak, with selflessness, his wild lion's roar, instilling fear in deer-like misled seekers. With journeys fruitful, travelling everywhere, as swift as thought in all Tathagatas, a victor slayer of foes, triumphant lord, a universal king with forces great. assembly head, instructor for assemblies, assembly lord, assembly chief, the ruler, most influential, bearing precious burdens, not other bound, his way, the greatest way. Okay, everybody. Thank you so very much. Let's wish for a long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And then for all of your holy, precious, precious, beautiful teachers, that they live long. Okay. And good night.